Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Susanna Taz, and I am the Southern Alberta project lead for the initiative Mentorability. Today we have our industry information session with cooperators, and we have Olaniyan, Jamie Yu, and Chaaya Jugdeb that are going to be talking today. They're talent acquisition advisors. And to begin, we would like to start with our land acknowledgement. I would like to start sharing that I am a settler here in Treaty 7. I'm originally from Sweden, and very grateful to be here and also working with intentional action around truth and reconciliation, as well as the United Nations Declaration for Indigenous Peoples. And that mentorability as well, we operate on what is colonially known as Alberta. We just take this opportunity for everyone to take a moment to think about how we are all treaty people and where we're joining from today. Next slide. A little bit of housekeeping for today. We ask everyone if you can stay muted. If you have a question that you would like to ask, if you could hold on to it till the end. If you want to, you can put it in the chat and we'll make sure to bring it up after the presentation. As well as there is closed captioning available through the controls from the Zoom. If there's anything that goes on during and you need any support, please feel free to put it in the chat and we will do it there. I'm going to stop sharing my screen now and I'm going to turn it over to our lovely cooperators.
All right. Thank you very much, Susanna. Hi, everyone. My name is Kofo, and joining me today are my colleagues Chaaya and Jamie. We are so excited to be here with you today to share what the world of insurance really is all about. And I would start briefly by sharing my career journey. So my career started in my home country, where I started as a litigation lawyer before transitioning into human resources. And I went on to gain HR experience across several industries, including aviation, consulting, and banking before relocating to Canada. Moving to Canada marked a fresh start for me, which meant stepping into a completely new field, insurance. And this is an industry I had little or no prior experience in at that time. I joined cooperators as a licensed insurance representative in a call center environment, and I fully immersed myself into the role, learning as much as I could about how to effectively support our clients. And about a year into the role and following several career development conversations with my manager, I realized that I was ready to transition back into my original career path in HR. And I began exploring opportunities, and the rest, they say, is history. Today, I'm back in HR, doing the work I'm truly passionate about, still within the insurance industry, which I have come to really appreciate. And with that, I would hand over to my colleague Jamie to introduce himself.
Thank you, Kofo. My name is Jamie. I am a senior talent acquisition specialist here with Cooperators. My journey is quite simple, actually. Went to university for 4 years to get my bachelor's in business administration and human resources. And then right after that, I got an internship into HR, which I learned HR, payroll, talent acquisition, kind of like the jack of all trades in that field. And once that was completed, I actually landed my first role into oil and gas. Did that for a few years. Wanted to change the industry. Went to retail and tourism. Did that for a few years as well. And then moved into healthcare, which was probably one of my favorite parts of my career is working with the healthcare aides and frontline workers in the healthcare field. After that, went back to retail for a quick stint, and now I ended up here at Cooperators. I started here about a year ago. It was actually my 1 year anniversary a few days ago. My role here is quite simple. I hire for mostly corporate roles and field roles. So ones that you've probably seen when you purchase insurance, the ones that speak to you, educate you about insurance products that we have. I'm the one that hires those employees and other corporate roles within that realm and that industry. And that's kind of my simple story. And I'd like to move it next to Chaaya.
Thank you, Jamie. And hello, everyone. My name is Chaaya, and I'm really excited to be able to share this platform with you today. So I'm a bilingual talent acquisition advisor with corporators based in Calgary, and I've been with corporators since 2022. I bring over 20 years of global HR experience across a variety of industries, not just insurance. So I've worked with oil and gas, with technology, airlines, legal, HR consulting, both in Canada and internationally. I actually started my career in an assessment center where we actually go through a lot of psychometric testing to assess people's potential. So that's been my foundation. I specialize in talent acquisition and talent development. And in my current role, I support recruitment across several corporate functions like legal, compliance, also do a lot of real estate, sustainability, government relation. And so I've had the opportunity to work across a full spectrum from early career to senior leadership, which I really value because it kind of allow me to connect with people across different stages of their career. And fun fact about me, I'm originally from a tropical island. It's called Mauritius. It's a small little dot in the ocean. I'm not sure if you are familiar, but it's multicultural. And growing up in Mauritius and living and working there really shaped my belief in inclusion and belonging. And that belief guides my work. And I tend to look beyond the resume to see potential. My aim is to try to remove all these barriers and create access to opportunities. I've also had the privilege of supporting a lot of individuals, including those with invisible disabilities, who are now, I could say, they're thriving in their careers. And that's probably one of the most meaningful part of my career that I really, really enjoy. I feel as talent acquisition professional, we don't just fill roles, we open doors to opportunities. And sometimes all it takes is helping someone recognize their strength and opening that door to an environment where they can truly bloom. And maybe that's why being part of this platform today, being part of mentorability is so meaningful to me. I truly believe there's a place for everyone, and through openness, curiosity, we can help others find where they belong. And with that, now that you've seen, Jamie, if you can please move to the next slide. So me and my colleague, Jamie and Kofo, we are really excited to spend some time with you today, sharing our industry information and talking about careers with corporators. Now that you know a little bit more about us, I'd love to quickly walk you through what you'll cover today. We'll try to keep it simple. First, we'll give you a quick overview of corporators and who we are, and then we're going to talk a bit about careers in insurance and share a few tips to help you how you can stand out throughout the hiring process. And we'll also touch on inclusion, diversity, equity, and accessibility, something that's really important to us at corporators. And after that, we'll walk you through our hiring process so you know what to expect. And we're going to wrap up with a few Q&A at the end. Hopefully, at the end of our presentation today, you'll be able to walk away with some practical tips that could be useful for you right away. All right, so let's start a little bit of context about who we are, because it really shapes how we hire and how we show up at corporators. So Corporators was founded in 1945 by a group of farmers who had lost everything during the Great Depression. Instead of rebuilding alone, they came up with a simple but very powerful idea. They say, why don't we just get together, build something so we can serve and help each other? And this is how Corporators was born. That idea, people helping people, is still at the very heart of everything that we do today. And that directly shapes how we hire. Yes, skills, experience matter a lot. But what matters just as much is finding people who connect to that purpose and are driven to make a real difference. So as we call ourselves a purpose-led cooperative. We look, as TA, as talent acquisition, we look way beyond that resume. We try to look for individuals with values that align with the community impact, inclusion, collaboration, and building, a more resilient society. Because this is what we do at cooperatives. We collaborate, and this is what we were founded by small business and small farmers coming together to help each other. So now fast forward to today. Cooperators is a leading Canadian financial services cooperative, supporting Canadians for over 80 years. We actually turned 80 years old last year. And every single employee at the organization got a day off on their birthday. Well, this is very telling in terms of, like, we are a living, breathing organization shaped by our people, and nothing happens without them. So individuals who are driven, every day to make that difference in our communities, like that's that collaborative environment that we live and breathe every day at cooperatives. So we help people through various stages of life, and some of the services that we provide, so insurance, we provide home, auto, life, farm insurance, and we also have wealth management and financial planning. I'm sure you must have seen, you can actually see the purpose in action through our presence. You must have seen our offices right in small communities across the country. And that's very intentional, because we believe in being close to our people that we serve, and to understand their realities and to show up when it really matters the most. So what really set us apart is how we support people. For example, during extreme weather, when you have a flood, you have a fire, you have a hailstorm, we don't just help clients recover, we help them rebuild even stronger, and with option to upgrade and reduce future risk. So when it comes to financial planning, we help people grow their wealth while also contributing to things like climate action and community development. So we are a national organization with over 6,000 employees now. We have about 600 locations and about 2,500 advisors with opportunities across insurance and investment. So at the end of the day, it comes down to one simple idea: putting people first. And that includes the people who join us. So we're committed to building inclusive teams where different perspectives are valued, because that's how we create real impact. Jamie, next slide, please. Thank you. So building on that, one of the ways our culture comes to life is through a number of recognition that we received as an employer. These awards matter because they reflect the real experience of our people. For example, we've been named as one of Canada's top 100 employers, which speaks to our focus on creating a supportive, engaging workplace. We were also recognized as one of Canada's best diversity employer, reflecting our ongoing commitment to inclusion and ensuring people feel valued and supported. And sustainability is a big part of who we are as well. We've been named one of Canada's greenest employer, showing how we think about long-term impact for our communities. We've also been recognized as a top employer for Canadians over 40, which highlights how we value experience and lifelong careers. And what's important is that these aren't just titles or awards. They show up in how we support our employees every day, from inclusive hiring to growth and development opportunities. And that's the kind of environment we're committed to building as we bring new people into cooperatives. Should be next one, please. Thanks, Jamie. So building on everything that we've covered, our culture and people-first approach, it all connects back to our purpose, our vision, and our values. And at cooperatives, these aren't just words. They guide how we show up every day. So we exist to build financial security for Canadians and their communities while helping create a sustainable and resilient future. Rather than just talk about it, let's dive into an interesting video, and that will show you what it looks like in real life. Thank you, Jamie.
All right, I'm gonna play the video and just anyone with a flight that they get here, just let us know. But we're gonna start the video and see if it works.
Okay, thanks.
So much has changed over the past 75 years, from how we work, to how we communicate, to how we even live. But in an ever-changing world, there's one thing we've always stood for and will remain committed to: our purpose. Financial security for Canadians and our communities. It's why Co-operators was formed, and why in the future we will continue to make a real difference in people's lives. How will we achieve this? As we always have, by coming together and doing the right things, making us all stronger, smarter, and more compassionate for one another. There is no limit to the collective impact we can have. Together, we have the ability to realize our vision. We will be a catalyst for a resilient and sustainable society. While each of us brings something different, by embracing our diversity, we will continue to evolve and develop new personalized solutions that provide the best insurance and investment opportunities for Canadians. And all of this will demonstrate our cooperative identity as it comes to life through our values of responsibility, integrity, and inclusion. As we look forward, whatever challenges we face as a company or a society, we will always be there for our clients and members, employees, advisors, and partners to keep what matters safe and save for what matters.
All right, hopefully that gave you a sense of what our purpose, vision, and values looks like in action. And honestly, at the heart of all of that is our culture. For us, it's about creating that environment where people can truly thrive, where you can feel seen, heard, valued, supported, and you feel you, right? Comfortable bringing your full self to work. It's about celebrating our wins together, lifting each other up, and working as one team. It's something that we're really, really proud of, and something that really sets the experience of working at corporates apart. So with that, I'll hand it over to my colleague Kofo, who's going to build on this and walk you through careers in insurance and why us.
Thank you so much, Chaaya, for that brilliant summation of what cooperator stands for. So you may be wondering why a career in insurance and why with cooperators. So let me walk you through that very briefly. Insurance is a purpose-driven career, and at its core, insurance is about protecting people, their homes, their cars, their health, and even their livelihoods. So when you choose a career in this field, you aren't just taking a job, you are stepping into a role where you can truly make a difference in people's lives, especially during challenging times. Another perspective you can think about is the fact that from a career perspective, one of the biggest advantages of working within this industry is the strong stability and job security that comes with the job. Insurance is something people will always need, regardless of what is happening in the economy. And that makes it a very steady and resilient industry to build a long-term career in. And there's also a variety of career paths available, because insurance isn't just about selling products. It's a full organization with many functions supporting it. So whether your interest lies with working with people or analyzing data, solving problems, or even areas like technology or HR, there's a place for you in this industry. And further down the line in this presentation, we will be sharing a link that has a quiz you can work on to determine the roles within insurance that may be best fit for your interests and skill sets. And from what my colleague Chaaya explained earlier, it is pretty obvious that when it comes to cooperators, what truly sets us apart is our cooperative, supportive, and inclusive culture. And it's at the heart of who we are and how we work. We are a client-focused, community-oriented, and committed to doing the right thing. We take a lot of pride in actively supporting the communities we serve through volunteering, while also creating an environment where employees can bring their authentic selves to work and make meaningful impacts every day. We also have great employee benefits. Employees are supported through strong programs and benefits, including competitive compensation and benefits, including pension and health support. We have an ongoing training, career growth and leadership development opportunities. So you're constantly learning and building skills that will take you in many different directions. And in addition to our competitive salary and incentive programs, we have well-being initiatives that support your mental, physical, social, and financial health. We have the flexible work options and paid time off to support work-life balance. So we have, I think, 3 weeks vacation. We have 3 personal days, and you have the hybrid work posture as well too. So you work 2 days in the office and 3 days at home. And then we also support community involvement with 2 paid volunteer days annually, employee recognition program that celebrates achievements and collaboration. And this strong commitment to both people and purpose is why Cooperators has been recognized as Canada's top 100 employers for 2 consecutive years. So ultimately, a career here is more than just a job. It's an opportunity to grow, give back, and make a real impact. Jamie, next slide, please. So the roles that we have in high demand, right, as mentioned earlier, one of the great things about the insurance industry is that there are consistent opportunities across different roles, especially at the entry and the early career levels. And some of the roles that we see in high demand would include the service and sales positions, and that will be the licensed insurance representatives, also known as insurance advisors or even insurance agents. And what they do is that they support clients in selecting the right coverages. We also have the service positions whereby you would have people the claims client service representatives, you would have the claims administration and billing representatives. And they are the ones who would handle the inquiries, support policy holders and ensure a positive customer experience. And then we have the claims position. And those will be the claims representatives or the claims advisors or the claims adjusters, also known as the loss adjusters as well. So all of these roles are critical because they directly impact how we support and retain our clients, especially during important times or sometimes stressful moments in their lives. We also hire regularly into these entry-level roles because there is ongoing growth and movement within the organization. So employees often progress into new opportunities like I did. And as a result, we will continually backfill roles, creating new opportunities for others to join and grow within the organization. Jamie, come to the next level. Next slide, please. So to give a brief overview of what these roles entail, we will start with the licensed insurance representatives, also known as the insurance advisors or the insurance agents. One key thing to note about this particular position is the fact that you have a licensing requirement. So before you can fully step into this role, you would need to complete training and pass a licensing exam. And the specific license that you obtain depends on the province. For example, in Ontario and some other provinces, we have a license called the Other Than Life or OTL license, while in provinces like Alberta, it is called the General Insurance License. And the good news is that the organization supports you through this process, covering the cost of the exam and providing training to help you prepare for the exam. So once you're licensed, this role typically involves you understanding the client's needs. You have to recommend the correct coverages to the client. And of course, you build long-term relationships with the clients and provide ongoing advice and support. So a typical day in this particular position involves speaking with clients, often over the phone, in a structured call center environment, where you review policies, answer questions and help the individuals make informed decisions about their financial protection. Based on my own experience, and what really stands out is the level of support provided. So you're not expected to figure out everything on your own. There is a comprehensive onboarding program of about 8 weeks, delivered in a classroom style setting alongside your peers. So this includes training on systems, processes, and how to confidently engage with your clients. And you would also have ongoing support from your manager and access to tools and resources to help you succeed in this position. So you are fully equipped and supported to take ownership of your role and grow into it with confidence. Jamie, the next slide. So we also have the role where we have the claims representative, we have the claims representative or admin role, whereby in this particular position, all you have to do essentially will be for you to support the clients on the phone. You speak to them about maybe their billing and payment options. You would review policy details to ensure that all you have is accurate. You process payments and update records. You resolve billing questions and discrepancies. And this is also in a call center environment as well too. And for this particular position, you don't need a license to do this job. It's just something that you get the training for, and then you'll be able to support the clients whenever they call in with issues that they have. Jamie, next slide. And then we have the claims disciplines. So in claims, we have 4 different disciplines in claims. We have the auto, we have property and home, we have bodily injury, and we have the accident benefits disciplines. So if I were to start, I would say that the claims representative, the work is slightly different, but equally impactful. They support clients who have experienced an event and need to file a claim. So a typical day for any of this, for the claims representative in any of this disciplines would be to speak to clients, to gather information. You would review documentation and explain processes clearly, and you guide the clients through the next steps. So to share a quick scenario, if you imagine someone who suffered a loss and they're stressed out, unsure of what to do, and worried about the next steps, the claims representative becomes the person who guides them throughout that situation, bringing clarity, reassurance, and support. So while the tasks may differ, the core purpose across these roles is the same: supporting people in meaningful and practical ways. And one key to note is that in this particular position, the career progression isn't linear. So we have the CCSRs, who are known as the claims client service representatives. You could have the claims adjusters. We have level 1, we have level 2, and we have level 3. And also you'd have maybe you have the tech supervisors. So we have different careers even within the claims industry. We have different kind of jobs and careers in the claims departments. So for the auto claims, they deal with car accidents and they handle car damage and accident between the drivers and determining who is at fault. So if there's a car accident, the auto claims professionals step in to figure out what happened and how to get the vehicles repaired. The home claims deals with homes and belongings, and they handle any damage that comes to those to your home or your property. So you're talking about fire and water damage or even storms. You could also have theft or vandalism, and the goal is to help the customers recover and rebuild whatever has been lost. So if something happens to someone's home, like for example, a fire or flooding, the team helps them to fix the damage and get back to normal. The bodily injury claims deals with injuries to other people, and they handle when someone is hurt in an accident. So they deal with medical claims, legal claims, and compensation for injuries. So if someone gets hurt in an accident, this team focuses on their injury and handle the medical and legal side. While on the other hand, the accident benefit claims deals with supporting the injured person, and they help they focus on helping the injured person recover. So they will be working on medical treatment, on rehabilitation, on income replacements. So the difference here is that no matter what the fault is, you would help the person regardless of who caused the accident. So for example, if you're injured in an accident, this team will make sure that you get the care and the financial support you need while you recover. So a simple way to remember this is that in claims, we either deal with damage to things or injury to people. So auto and property, things, bodily injury and accident benefits, you have people. Claims is where insurance really comes to life. You're helping people at some of the most stressful moments in their lives. Jamie, next slide. All right, so let's talk about the skills that really make someone successful in this role. So some of the skills would be, a customer service mindset. It's about you putting the client first and ensuring that they feel heard and supported while discussing whatever issues that they have with you. You must be able to effectively listen and understand and explain things clearly. That skill is essential. So even the small errors can have an impact. So accuracy is very, very important in this particular position. You cannot afford to make any mistakes, because if you make a mistake in someone's policy, it could be disastrous. And then you need to be able to assess situations independently, think critically and identify practical solutions. Not every interaction will be straightforward, particularly in claims, where the client may be experiencing stressful situations. So being able to de-escalate tense situations, remaining calm and empathetic, and staying solution focused is essential to providing a positive client experience. And these roles often involve you handling multiple tasks and priorities at the same time. So you have to be able to prioritize and manage your time effectively. So a client may call in frustrated after an accident or even confused about their coverage. A strong representative doesn't just respond, they listen, they acknowledge the concern, clarify the issue, and guide the client towards a solution. That ability to stay calm, organized, and supportive can completely change the client experience. So when we think about these roles, it is not just about the insurance knowledge, it's about the people skills, problem solving, and the ability to make a difference in someone's moment of need. I'll be handing over to Jamie now to take over to take us through the idea strategy. Thank you.
Kofo, I think it's me. Yeah, it's me. Yeah, no, Kofo, that was amazing, and thank you for sharing a great overview on the careers that we can expect within our industry, and also sharing all the skills that really matter to cooperators. Now it's about how you bring those skills to life, because it's not just what you have done, but it's how you show it. So I will share a few simple ways that can help you stand out at every step of your hiring journey. I always like to start with you, because there's only one you, and that's you're unique. You're really, every single person, we are unique, right? So my first advice would be to take that moment to reflect. What are you naturally good at? What kind of work that excites you? Where do you shine? And when are you at your best at work? What type of role you've been excelling at? What really gets you out of bed in the morning? So these little things is that self-awareness is a huge leap. If you know who you are, when you're clear about your why, the how becomes easier. Your application are more focused, your interviews are more confident, and your story becomes more compelling. The next thing would be to build this connection and network early. Many opportunities come from conversation, not just job posting. I get a lot of reach from LinkedIn, and an interesting one, so when you engage on LinkedIn, you attend events like today, like mentorability, and connect with people within the industry. These type of relationship can open doors that you may not even know that they exist. And these things can give you real insight about roles that haven't been posted. And this doesn't have to be complicated. I know at times it's a little bit intimidating to reach out, even via LinkedIn or in person. But sometimes it can be as simple as sending a small little message. Could be something like, "Hi, I'm exploring careers in insurance," and maybe if they see some of the posts that me, Kofo, Jamie, or any other recruiters within corporators that we have posted, and something that appeals, that connects to you, you just put a one-liner in your LinkedIn message, say that you really enjoyed those posts. That would be, that could open up a quick chat, because it's not something like generic, because it tells us that you actually took a peek of things that we're posting and that resonate with you. And that one step can lead to real opportunities. The next thing as well would be to do your research on the company, on the role, on the team. And we have, a question that we ask. So why cooperators? Whenever we're doing an interview, why cooperators? Why are you interested in this role? Do you know anybody as part of this team? Do you know anyone working with cooperators? So when you show up informed, you stand out in meaningful ways, and you ask better questions. You demonstrate your genuine interest as well, For example, instead of asking, you may ask like, what does your company do? You could ask something like, you say like, I saw your focus on community impact. I saw so many pictures of you volunteering at work. And how does this team contribute to that? When I get those meaningful questions that connect, your interest to the things that you've seen, it's very telling for me. And it's very meaningful for me when I'm engaging with a candidate during an interview. So when you understand the organization and when you understand how the role fits, it shows when you're speaking during that interview, and it helps you tailor your application as well. It helps you ask better questions. It helps you demonstrate real alignment. And when I personally, when I see your values aligning to our team, to our organization, to that culture, this is when the magic starts happening. This is when I would say, well, like, we actually have somebody who cares about community, involvement, like volunteering, and they did some research. They're actually checking us on LinkedIn, what we're doing in real life experience. So now when it comes to your resume, it's your passport, it's your marketing brand, and it's also your gateway to an interview. And you probably you may know, you may not know, but recruiters like us, we often spend less than a minute scanning it. So make sure that you make it count and don't just list what you did. Show the impact that you made and tailor it to the role that you applied for. If you can add a short and very strong summary on top, just a list of few achievements, so many years of experience, and add some result with some metric where possible, just make it easy for a recruiter to scan it within a minute at a glance. So that would be my advice to you whenever you're building your resume. So, for example, if instead of saying I answered customer calls, you could put something like I handle 50 plus customer inquiries daily, and that improved the satisfaction scores. Same job, but now you're making that impact that you had more clear. Like it's way clearer in the way that you're writing it on your resume. The next thing now, it's about interviews and sharing short, impactful stories. When your resume opens that door, now the interview is where you bring everything to life. And yes, we all feel those interview jitters. Even us talent acquisition practitioners, we've been on the other side as well. We've been through interviews, and it's normal. It's totally normal. Like for me, I want to see that person behind that resume. So, I do like I know my colleagues as well do that, right? We want to see the real person behind that resume, and we try to set that atmosphere where it's very conversational as well. Like even I can ask them to, if you want to grab something to drink, pose, ground yourself, take that moment. The key here, whether it's going to be virtual or it's in person, log in early, settle in, give yourself that space to feel prepared, right? And your first impression matters, whether it's virtual or it's in person. I always often think like your energy, your presence, your authenticity set the tone before you even say a word. So a little smile, that positive attitude, a bit of enthusiasm, it goes a long way and it shows up as yourself. So you don't need to be perfect. We're not expecting like AI perfect answer. We want to get to know that person really behind that resume. And it's okay if you want to pose, if you want to think, or you want to ask a question to be repeated, because what stands out isn't perfection, it's authenticity, and we're all human. So if you need that time, if you want that question to be repeated, I would just ask. Like for me, that's that's the space where the candidate's actually thinking, and they need that space, and we give them that space. So when we think about interview, I like to think of an interview as a two-way discovery conversation. That's how I like to see interview. We're getting to know you, and you're also deciding if this role and organization are the right for you. That's what sharing short, real, impactful stories matters. So don't just tell us what you're good at. We want to see this example, and that's what makes you memorable. And I like to do the same as well. I share my own candid experience at co-operators, so you get a real feel of our culture too. And there's one question. I'm sure you must have gone through that question. You must have had that question. Tell me about yourself. So that's a question that happens right from the start, and that question can set the tone for the entire interview. We often see very strong candidates who struggle, not because they lack experience, simply because they struggle. That struggle is because they don't know how to present it. And most people, they either walk through the entire career history step by step, or they give very generic answers that aren't memorable for us. But a strong answer includes a few key things. First, clearly explain who you are today. Connect your experience to that role that you've applied for and highlight your strength and your passion. And if you can do that within a minute, that's the magic. So you're not just summarizing your career, you're making a case for why you are the right person for the job. And the candidates who understand that are the ones who really set the tone for the entire interview. Now, I also want to acknowledge something that many people are at times, a little bit worried about: the gap in career path. Life is not linear, and your career doesn't have to be either. We're all human. Gaps happen for so many reasons. It could be a sabbatical, you could be on a parental leave, a medical leave, caregiving, or you may be taking further education. Those experiences matter, and they shape who you are, and they build real strength. So don't feel like you need to hide. But one thing also, don't feel that you need to over-explain them. So instead, speak about them with confidence. You may say something like, I took some personal time away from work, some time away from work to focus on my own personal matters or career growth. And that experience helped me become more resilient and clearer about what I want to do next. So, and just remember, you're not starting over, you're moving forward with more insight, with more strength, and with more purpose. So whenever you have to share a gap, we expect that honesty, we expect that transparency in a very short and concise way, but in a forward thinking way. And finally, show genuine interest and follow up strong. Be authentic, be curious, be engaged throughout the process. Every time I receive that little thoughtful follow-up message, thank you, it could be a simple, thank you so much for the time. It reinforces your interest and it leaves a really lasting impression after an interview. I know I'm talking a lot, so I'm just going to wrap up now. In short, know your strength, be clear about your passion, prepare with intention, show up authentically, and confidently communicate the impact. And that's what truly sets you apart. Believe me, we're not looking for AI perfect answers. We really want to get to know who the real person is behind that resume throughout the hiring process and during the interview as well. So hopefully these tips give you a clearer idea on how to stand out across the hiring process, from application all the way through the offer. But of course, it's not just about standing out individually. It's also about creating a hiring experience where everyone can show up as their true self. So with that, I'm going to hand it over to my colleague, Jamie, who's going to walk you through IDEA, inclusion, diversity, equity, and accessibility, and why it plays such an important role in how we hire at cooperatives. Jamie, take it away.
All right, thank you so much, Chaya, for that and pass it over to me. So yes, I would like to talk about IDEA. So it's an initiative we have here at Cooperators. Cooperators, we embraces the diversity of our people through our inclusive culture that supports our cooperative values and purposes. So this is kind of the acronym that we have available. So I is for inclusion, D is for diversity, E is for equity, A is for accessibility. IDEA is an initiative that Cooperators has had put a priority on since 2019 when it was first created, and each year this strategy gets revisited to better adapt to the social societies that are ever changing in our world. We have a team dedicated to IDEA that are available to support employees to help them become IDEA champions. So to become an IDEA champion, they have a curriculum and a learning pathway with multiple e-learnings, whether it's LinkedIn or Cooperators Learning. And once they finish these learnings through the pathway, they become recognized as IDEA champions, and they essentially embrace this embodiment through the company. By doing so, we provide platforms, cooperators for individuals to share their story from a personal level. By sharing these stories, it provides awareness to others who could have gone through the same struggles and can relate to others who may not want to speak up. So, for example, we do have volunteers that share the stories on Teams or in-person panel sessions to share their story on a broader scale. For example, this past month, we had a panel of volunteers for Pride Month that spoke about their personal and professional journey through cooperators and in the past. And it was in person at our headquarters, as well. It was a webcast available to the rest of the company to view live as well. So these are a couple examples of how we put IDEA into the spotlight. And while we do see a lot of successes in our journey, we know that there's still a lot to do with the ever-changing world. So the employee resource groups, so we call these ERGs. So these are voluntary employee-led groups who aim to contribute to an inclusive and equitable workplace. So ERGs, employee resource groups, give voice to historically marginalized or underrepresented groups and organizationally supported by part of our IDEA strategy. So these are just a list of the current ones we have available for employees to join and meet other like-minded employees with common goals and values when it comes to diversity. The list continues to grow continuously throughout the years. We can't cover everything all at once, so then they are always adding new groups and new lists to this. So this is just the example of our current year's list. So the well-being strategy we have, I'll talk about in a second here. But IDEA, I want to show some pictures of kind of how we embody this strategy. So the first picture at the top is a Pride event we had at our headquarters. On the bottom left was that panel I had just mentioned, a panel of speakers who spoke about Pride and they shared their stories. In the middle is a picture of one of our managers conducting a mock interview with a diversity partner. And then the last picture at the end was a volunteering event with a community partner where we were washing walkers and adding in their name IDs and speaking and working with those clients. So our well-being strategy, so this is an addition to the IDEA strategy that I've been speaking about. And there are multiple well-being pillars that cooperators focus on. There is physical well-being, mental well-being, social well-being, and financial well-being, much like what Kofo mentioned at the beginning with our employee benefits. One strong contributor to our well-being strategy is the work-life balance. So one thing that's really prominent here is the respect of boundaries of working hours at cooperators. I have a testimonial from a manager who wanted to go on record to mention that when they went on vacation for a couple weeks, they didn't need to bring their laptop or phone, and they felt comfortable that their colleague was going to cover for them and take care of things while they were gone. No one messaged their personal phone, and they came back to a normal working day. Of course, there's catch up, of course, there's action items, but it's the fact that no one needed that person to urgently attend to anything, and they respected their boundaries and could find the answer elsewhere. So that's part of well-being with work-life balance is very critical here. And so is having intrinsic rewards. So kind of what Kofo mentioned with benefits, we have volunteer days, personal days, and professionally organized volunteer days where we give back to the community. So we also have employee assistance programs that assist employees with the 4 pillars that I mentioned. But volunteer days here are very prominent, and we do encourage employees to volunteer on their own and with their teams and with the organization as a whole. So here's some pictures from our well-being strategy initiatives again. So on the left here is just kind of a collage of different things we've done over the years. So there was a yoga class that a group attended, a field trip to a food truck at the headquarters. They really do enforce well-being here, and we all have the shirts, as you can tell from me, Chaaya and Kofo wearing our well-being shirts. We want to be champions and we want to be ambassadors of that part of our company here. On the top right, with well-being, we also have different offices around Canada, and different offices have different perks. So, for example, the top right is Calgary. We actually have an area we could play Switch, a Nintendo Switch, and a foosball table. And our headquarters actually has a cooperative basketball court in the back. So, we do want people to to relax, enjoy working with their teammates, but also have some fun. It's not always about work here. We want to encourage others to do other activities with their employees and become better teammates in that sense. So the big thing is commitment to employee well-being. So we have 5 points to our commitment. One is human-centered, where all employees deserve well-being support. Shared responsibility, so regardless of what title you are, everyone has a role to play with the culture of well-being. Prevention, with preventative approaches, you build resilience. Culturally relevant and safe. Create safe well-being resources is critical to reflect diverse backgrounds. And finally, employee experience focus. We want to remain flexible and adaptable to enhance employee experiences here. Okay, in the interest of time, we did have a video to show, but this is actually on our website. We can share the link afterwards with Susanna to cascade to the team. It is about a 4 or 5 minute video of just a testimony of one of our employees here who has spoken about the culture and their experiences here at Cooperators. So we want to give some more testimonials for more recent hires that we've had in the last about month. So what we did a bit of a survey or a focus group to speak to some of the new hires that we hired in the recent memory in different departments to kind of get their testimonials. So I'll quickly go over a few of them right now with everyone. So the first one is from our field talent team. And quote unquote, these are from the employees themselves. My experience with joining cooperators has been incredibly positive. I was always interested in applying to cooperators, and as I heard positive feedback, employees seemed engaged, and the personal opportunity to branch out onto something completely new was exciting. I wanted a strong working culture and somewhere I would be valued. I can confirm you feel like more than just a number here, and thus far, the culture has been warm and welcoming. On my first day, I sensed the feeling of belongingness, which contributed to an outline of expectations, meeting my team, and a one-on-one with my new manager. And as Kof mentioned, we had a claims person as well that had started. So joining cooperators marks an exciting new chapter in my career. After spending the past few years in customer service leadership roles, I was looking for an opportunity and that balanced customer experience with technical expertise. What drew me to cooperators and the insurance industry was a chance to build a meaningful career while helping people during important moments in their lives, something that strongly aligns with the organization's commitment to community integrity and putting clients first. My experience with cooperators has been wonderful from the very start. The hiring process was smooth, informative, and made me feel excited about joining the company. I appreciate the timely responses throughout the process. During onboarding, I felt very welcomed and supported by everyone I interacted with. The team has been incredibly helpful. The training sessions have made the transition into my role very easy, and I'm very grateful for the warm welcome and very excited to learn, contribute, and as part of the team.
Jamie?
So I want to, yeah, sure.
I was just wondering if I could pause you there. I just want to be cognizant. There's 5 minutes left for
Sure.
our time here. And this is such a rich presentation with so much information and so many valuable case studies and feedback. I was just wondering if this would be a good place to pause to be able to ask some questions from the audience. And then we could share maybe some of the other aspects in an email as a follow-up.
Yeah, that'd be great. Yeah, we can definitely do that. We can pause here. I was just gonna do a couple more experiences, but I would love to open up for any questions.
Thank you so much, Jamie. Really appreciate it. And if you want, we could put these slides in the email so that people
Sure.
have them to reflect on.
Sure.
That would be great. So what I will do is I'm going to go through the chat here. And first of all, thank you very much to all of you for sharing about the cooperators. It truly is such an meaningful and very inspirational place. So on here, we have the first question is about for the HR team, is there any current support or sorry, IT support or cybersecurity internship jobs in Alberta, especially in Calgary or even in Ontario?
Yeah, I can answer that one. So we are a national company, and a lot of our roles are hybrid. So as long as they're in close to one of our headquarters, which is listed on our website, there are roles that are available. I can't tell you off by heart if there are any support or IT security ones currently. We do have those departments, but it would be something on the career set that we can that you would have to look into. But we do hire within Calgary and Ontario.
Okay, great. Thank you. Another question is, considering the competitiveness of the current job market and AI filtering out resumes, how can you really position yourself to get your resume reviewed by a human, and knowing that you'll meet all the requirements and experience outlined in the job description? So I think the question there is asking, with AI fielding through and kind of filtering out a bunch of the resumes, do you have any suggestions or recommendations in order for resumes and applications to be able to get through those systems?
I can take that one. Yeah, so AI, I know AI, they filter a lot of applications. So one thing I would suggest is, whenever you're drafting your resume, you have to tailor it to the job posting, right? There are specific keywords in terms of what you should expect, what the job requirements. So if you include those little keywords, that would be, and you have to include keywords that you can speak to during the interview, not just keywords, to get through to get an interview. So make sure that whatever you're going to include is something that you can speak to during the interview. And I know like AI filter a lot of the resume, but at the end of the day, the reality is us recruiters, we do scan your resume. And that's why when I was, I was sharing some tips that asked to put that little blurb on top in terms of your summary. I have so many years of experience, and try to tailor it to a specific role that you've applied for if you have specific experience that you can speak to. This is a really quick overview that gives us a glimpse that, okay, this could be a potential candidate for this role. I don't know if that's helpful. That's my 2 cents on the question.
Really appreciate that. Thank you so much. And I also appreciate the answers that were given here in the chat as well. We have about 1 minute left, and I just want to open the floor up if there was anyone here that wanted to ask a question verbally.
I don't have a question, but I would like to say thank you so much for a very knowledgeable and engaging presentation.
Thank you so much. I agree. I think it's really amazing too, just the thoughtfulness that goes in, even having a quiz to be able to determine what roles you know that you're going to fit in best. All those awards are really outstanding, including the one for over 40s. I've never heard of that one before, so that was really interesting. Um, and it really sounds like you listen to the people that work there, and are able to learn and grow as you're going along. Kind of makes me want to learn about different industries. But like, oh, maybe insurance is something. So thank you ever so much. Rebecca is putting in the careers link here in the chat. We will be following up with an email to say thank you. There was a feedback survey that goes to a third-party auditor just to see how we're doing. If you have time, we always appreciate that. And would love to give a huge thank you to Chaaya, Jamie, and Kofu for your time as well as Rebecca and Carmen for behind the scenes, my cooperators. And if there's any other questions that come up afterwards, please feel free to reach out to me and I can forward them on to the team. Thank you ever so much, everyone, and have a wonderful day.